Hello, and welcome back to Defense Diaries. I am your host, Bob Mata, and I am joined once again by my beautiful and brilliant co-host, Allie. What is up, girl?
Hey, babe. Hey, all.
So, crazy day. We were planning on doing a Delphi update because we obviously have the newly filed motion to reconsider the denial of the motion to correct error that was recently filed yesterday by one of Richard Allen's attorneys, Jennifer Auger. And lo and behold, today, the bridge guy video dropped. Like right when we were starting our live with Anjanette, I was completely discombobulated. I'm still discombobulated. I'm really trying to get my head wrapped around it. I had no forewarning that was coming. I am thrilled that it is out there. I hope this is the beginning of a long line of exhibits from that trial being released to the public. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until the interrogation videos are made public. I cannot wait for the public to see them. I want everyone to see everything that I saw. You know, it's like I did the best I could trying to rehash what I saw in that courtroom. I did the best I could. I'm texting with Andrea. I'm like, do you remember seeing the bridge guy that clearly on the original video? She's like, none of us saw him. She's like, it was so shaky. That's why Andrea doesn't think that this is the original. Now I'm getting the information I'm getting is this video is coming from the Cellubrite extractions, which to me would mean that it's not the stabilized or the enhanced. So I don't know, but let's watch it like 5 million times and see what we can see. So this is what we're going to do. Allison's done a huge amount of work reading both the new Glossip Supreme Court decision that came down recently, and we've both gotten familiar with NAPU, which is really kind of the genesis of Glossip. So like the law that was created in NAPU was then essentially reconfirmed in Glossip, and they added a little bit more to it. So, but we're going to go through it. Allie's done the work. She's pulled out the important parts of that case. So we are going to educate you a bit on what the law of the land is, and that's Supreme Court law. So, but before we get to that, let's watch what everybody should be watching. Let's watch the bridge guy video as much as, and can you boost the sound? And I think we should watch it at a slower speed.
I don't know if I can boost the sound. Let me see. There doesn't appear. Oh, wait. We'll see if that actually did boost it, but I'll share now. I wish the problem is that because I can download it and watch it on like different applications instead of just watching it from where they posted it. And that's what I did during the break. But we can't share sound like that on StreamYard. So, all right. So, can you guys even
Do it. Can you make it where it's full screen?
Yeah, I just had it. Okay.
There you go.
All right, here
And
we
then
go.
can you boost the sound? I mean,
I did. I just don't know if it worked. If it's
okay.
going to make a difference for you. Okay, so that's really loud when I play it. Is it loud for you guys?
No,
Right. So
I
I
can't.
don't
I can't. I didn't hear anything.
like it was like bzz.
I didn't hear it.
So it's not loud. You don't hear that loud right away.
No, I didn't hear anything.
I'm turning it off because it's annoying. We're gonna let it play through once.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Like I can barely hear him saying guys down the hill there.
Yeah. So here's a couple things that I want to point out. Okay. So the first voice that you hear is like a whisper, right? It is not coming from Abby. And then you hear Libby say something right after. So it doesn't seem like it's coming from Libby. So, but then when you hear the second voice, so let me get to that one. Hold on. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Ugh. So right here, there's a tiny whisper. And then it seems like Abby's too far. And then when you hear Libby breathe and sniff right there, it sounds like she's too loud. I wish the sound was better. All right, you heard that, right?
Yes.
Now, who do we think that is?
I don't know. Well, did Abby just run by her?
Not yet. Abby, you just here. I got to go back slow.
To me, I've said this on live since I saw this video. To me, it sounded like Libby was talking to somebody when she's like who is she talking to when Abby's coming towards her still? 'Cause
Right.
She's like whispering. Like people were
Right.
giving me shit when I was trying to kind of voice act what she sounded like, but you can hear she's speaking very quietly.
All right. So
And
that's how far she is away. So it could have been her, but that wasn't who whispered the first time. So did you hear that? It could have been. And then you've got this. Where'd it go? All right. So then you've got this. Bob says that could be her hood, right?
well, so I'm talking to I've got a friend that was actually like in the investigation early on. He says when they got the first video that it was upside down because she had the phone by her pants. So for the life of me, I cannot figure out what we're looking at in terms of it's the original video, if this is the enhanced video. Because remember, there were three. There's the original, there's the enhanced, and then there's the stabilized. And the stabilized is the one that we saw last because and I was texting Andrea Burkhart like right before we came on. I'm like, dude, like, which one is this? Because Andrea's posted on Twitter, she thinks it's the enhanced. I cannot, I don't know.
All right. So let's
I
talk
don't
about this
figure it
shadow.
out.
Okay. If this, Bob, you're saying this is who?
It's got to be Libby.
All right. So
Right?
if this is Libby, whatever this is, it moves. It's not a tree because its shape changes as the shadow changes. See?
Yes.
So, all right, you're saying that's Libby. And then she turns, okay? And Libby is turning, so let's say that's Libby. Now let's hear what she's saying over here, because now we just did this where we see that Abby is still doot, 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 doot. I mean, we're not even a second past. She's still pretty far away.
Right. See, and like when I was in the courtroom and we saw the original, here, go back a couple of frames, babe. When we were in the courtroom and they first showed us the original video, I did not see that dude at all. So at all. And I asked Andrea, I'm like I didn't remember seeing, and I was confirming. She's
Well,
like,
look
none of us.
there. You don't really see him if that's where
Right.
they
You don't
started,
you
'cause
don't see him,
he's
and
back there
then
though.
yeah. Like here I can see his legs back there. Like, but
Yeah, but
now
there
we have the
was
ability to look at it a million times.
right.
But my estimate that I think he's about 10 yards away, 30 feet behind her, I think was dead on. Like, I mean, he looks to be like 10 yards away from her, behind her. I mean, he's certainly not right behind her. He's like 30 feet behind her. I mean, it takes him, if we can now count the seconds from when she runs by to how long it takes him to get within speaking distance. He's still not right on top of him when he's speaking. It doesn't sound like to me.
So you can still see the distance there. There. Okay. So this is when she starts to turn. There's the shadow. Now let's hear what she's saying. Hold on.
See, this is the path that we go down.
So, and then I'll take it that's her shadow again as she starts to turn back. So here's the path we have to go down. So either there's someone she's talking to, or she's talking to the phone, like this video that she's taking. So now she passes by, and she says she starts to tell her.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Now that sounds like Abby having just run, breathing heavy, sniffling. All right. So now here's that shadow, right, of Libby. What is this back here?
Just like, I mean, it's a wooded area. It's like a rock or sticks. Like, are you talking about like the shadow? Like, and remember, there's trees, skinny
know.
trees on both sides. So you're just seeing shadows. Like I'm not seeing, like I originally thought I saw early on in the video 2 sets of legs, not what you're looking
And
at.
I'm going to show you where I think that is. Okay. So there's Abby. Wait. No, it was back here. It was right after Abby ran by. All right. So you see this shadow at the top. That's Abby coming, right? You see it up way in the back. You can
Yeah,
see it.
that's
Right.
that's
Okay.
Abby.
She's
coming.
crossing by Libby. So there's her shadow coming out. Now what is that?
Where?
In that shadow right there. Looks like, I don't know. And there was one other one. See if I can find it. You can see Libby's shoe, so you know. God darn it, where's that other shadow? So you're saying that thing back there at the very top, again, that's a different screen, is just, that's just something out there. What's everybody saying? What's everybody thinking?
Let's see.
This first thing, the first talking, I wish you guys could hear it. Right there was a whisper. Okay, right there was a whisper. Now that's Libby sniffling.
See, this is the path that we go down.
So who's she talking to right there? Is
Right.
she is she narrating a video?
So we have to go down here.
Is that all she's doing? Is it possible she's just narrating a video?
I mean, it's possible, but
I can hear him say the guys. I mean, I know he says guys down the hill.
But here's the thing. I listened to this with the volume fully cranked and the headphones on. There is no cocking. There's definitely no cocking.
Right. Well, it's like being able to make the distinction between them walking on the quartz rocks there that they always lay at the side of railroad tracks and a gun being racked is impossible. More importantly, do you hear like what Liggett said he heard Abby say was something to the effect does is that a gun? Would that be a gun?
I didn't hear anything
before,
like
and that
that.
was before she got to Libby.
I
don't
couldn't
know.
hear anything other than the words. All right, right here, Bay. What is that?
All right, I gotta call Andy Baldwin. I'll be right back.
All right, guys, am I crazy or is that just her shadow looking like it's two shadows? Maybe it is. Let's go back to this shadow. The first shadow. Does anyone else hear that whisper there? Like the little whisper? That's just her shadow each leg. So when we were on our other live, we had some super stickers that talking about the video. Crankin said, with studio earbuds, a very minor microsecond inhale whimper of Libby when Bridge Guy seems to be diverting their attention, as if someone came up behind them with a weapon. Where is the video for me to download? The video is at rickallenjustice.com/transparency. Kaylee said, seems like the girls waited on him for direction. And I can't really zoom in on it. She says, Allie, she says, see what I mean? Then it sounds like a male breathes through his nose, like laughs. All right, so Sarah's talking about that little whisper, an audio edit. Problem is, Mandy, I can't play an audio edit for you. Well, maybe I can play it through my microphone. Let's see.
See, this is the path.
Whoop. So could you guys hear that? What? Who just told me it was her saying, "See what I mean?" Here. Did you guys hear that through the microphone with that? Loud and clear. Oh, okay. So maybe I can, if this is on. All right, so let's do it again. Whoop, I turned it down. Hold on, not up.
See, this is the
All right, so here's the thing though. On this video that Mandy sent me, it seems like her mouth is moving at the same time as we hear that whisper. So I don't know how, it just seems like it's impossible to be. That seemed like it was Abby. Like Abby said, "See what I mean?" And I wonder if she's talking about the person standing behind her. It sounds like this on the path. Yeah, but it's so far away. It's true, but he he zoomed in on the picture. I wish I could. I can't. I can't. Let's do it again. Like you saw her head move. She does seem too far away, but on the enhanced, the way DB sent it, it seems like she's speaking at the time that sounds, and it does sound like "See what I mean?" But then who was that? Because if that was her saying "See what I mean?" then what was that sound right there? Let me play it through here.
see, this is the
So it was that right there. What is that? If the "See what I mean" came from Abby, then what? Please play the entirety a few times through the microphone or just on the screen. Hmm. Abby says, "Don't leave me" when she's at the end. Okay. So through the microphone. All right. So how about I try to um should I try to link it up and turn the sound off of here? All right, I'm going to try to do this.
see, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
I still didn't hear "Don't leave me." Should I do it again? Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, let's do it again. We're going to try to time it up where I click play with the sound off here.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe what you guys are telling me is that in the beginning, where I'm like, what was that whisper? It is don't leave me. But if the words see what I'm saying came from Abby, should be saying two different men. What are you guys saying? You hear two different male voices or three different female voices? Or are you saying both? Down the hill sounds identical to Klein. All right, we're going to do it one more time.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's two different guys. Sounds like two different guys to me. That definitely sounds like two different guys. And I don't know if you guys heard someone whisper. All right, so here's my issue. Okay, so if we are here, we turn the volume back up on this, even though you guys can't really hear it as loud as it is. But if we are, oh wait, I still have the volume off. Sorry. If we are here and that is Abby saying, see what I mean, and somehow her voice, her whisper is getting into the phone. The next whisper that is audible that I think you guys can hear even playing this way, to me can't be the same person. Right there. That sounded different to me as well. Does anyone else think that sounds different?
In terms of being a different person?
Yeah, to me, the person that says, "Hey guys," and the voice that says "down the hill" sounds different. The voice that whispers, "See what I mean?" and then the following whisper that is, some people say that's "don't leave me," also sound like two different people. You can hear it clearly hear it. Did you listen while we've been doing this whole play the audio?
No, I was talking to Baldwin on the phone. Like he's
So tell us which video this is.
it came from the extraction.
So it is not the enhanced or the super enhanced.
I don't know.
What?
I mean, he's
didn't know?
saying. All right, so wait. Dan Samatovich just played me. He buffed up the audio as much as possible.
Wait, is that DB? Because I got that.
No. Did DB buff? Did he pump up the audio?
Yeah, that's what we were just listening. What we've been
All right,
doing.
hold on. No,
Let
this is
me tell you what
something different from not DB.
Okay, but let me tell you how we've been doing it. If you've got your microphone set up, I'm turning the sound off the video that we're playing and putting my phone to the microphone, and everyone can hear it really well.
Okay, so I think this is even a little. Well, let's check it out because I didn't get to hear what DB sent. Like
All right, well,
what I've heard sounds way better.
Tell me when you hit play, and I'll hit play.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit play.
Oops.
Right. Okay, on the count of 3. 3, 2.
Wait. Do it again. Sorry.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Did we even hear down the hill on yours?
I don't know. Play DB's version.
Okay, but I whose feet were shuffling at the end there because we saw Abby not moving and Libby's the phone.
I heard a little. I thought I heard Abby's voice. I can't hear what she's saying.
Yeah, you missed the first whisper wasn't on there. The see what I'm saying, and then the whole down the hill guys isn't on your sound. So Bob, listen to. We're gonna do it on DBs one more time.
It's so.
Don't talk. Don't talk.
Okay.
See, this is the path that we go down.
What was that?
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Yeah.
God, DB's sounds way better.
It's two. Did that not sound like two different people's voices?
Yeah, well, the guys definitely sounded different
Than the down the hill.
Yes, it sounded like guys, and then down the hill. It did. Play it one more time.
Okay, and then so listen. Also, pay attention to the sounds of feet shuffling versus shadows moving and where everybody is as well.
Well, I also want DB's sound is great on that. Does anyone hear a gun racking?
No.
Anyone? I know that you don't.
Oh,
because you're frankly probably hearing it better than anybody right now. All right.
wait, I think I can turn my mic up. Yeah, why don't I do that real quick?
All right, everyone protect your ears in case it's super loud.
I'm turning my mic up as loud as it goes, so it's two. Oh, I won't talk. Okay. No talking, babe.
See, this is the path at the other house. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Dan's who sent it to it.
Guys. Yeah.
Do you have it as a like? Can you scrub it so that we can hear little portions? Like, I want to hear the early thing that Abby seems to say right when she's running by.
It
You know what I'm saying? Like, forget about the video at this moment in time. I just want to hear the sound. Like,
The one-
maybe the video, like
well,
maybe
that
if we don't
tells
have
you
the
what the sound is.
I think
Man,
we
is
all
it-
it's 43 seconds. We all have a pretty good idea.
right, somebody says they heard, and then I thought I thought I heard something in yours, but then I thought you actually said something into your microphone, so I couldn't tell. Did you say something when you were playing your sound the first time around?
I don't think so. Do you want me to play? I'll
Yeah,
play
but
mine
just
again.
be sure not to make any sound.
Okay. I'll crank my mic up too.
And I'm muting mine.
See, this is the path at the other house. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. Come on.
Man. All right. So hold on. I'm probably super loud. I'm going to play it one more time. Now I want you can hear Abby or Libby saying things. You're muted.
Your mic is still super loud, but your sound is way not as good as this one. So I might as well play this one again.
Okay.
See, this is the path at the other house.
Damn it. Sorry, guys.
There's no path going there. See, this is the path at the other house. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Come on.
Yeah.
I just put my mic back to regular. So I personally hear two different children's voices, one saying, "See what I mean?" and the other saying whatever that is, "Don't leave me," whatever. Um, and I definitely hear two different male voices saying, "Guys," and "down the hill." And I don't hear anything remotely like, um, w oh, the sound of a gun cocking.
All right. I mean, I hear a lot of other little whispery things that are being said, aside from the things that are clear. That are like in the first 5 seconds, there's somebody that whispers something very, very low.
That's what we're saying is, "See what I mean?" And if you look at Mandy sent you the same sound I've been playing, he zoomed in on Abby's mouth, and you see it move right that precise moment. She seems very far away for the sound to have gotten picked up, but it looks like it coincides with her sound. Either way, the next audible sounds that is a child speaking and clearly not Libby was not the same person that whispered whatever whispered. And yeah, Caroline is correct. Thank you for your generosity. The person definitely says hi when whomever approaches and says guys. Um, and Bluster Breeze, thanks for your generosity. Yes, says no path going there, so we have to go down here. Like they knew where they were going before the male voice said anything. Great point. I was thinking the exact same thing. She's already talking about like going down a path. So either, if you're talking about like they wanted to get away from whoever was there, so she's looking for the path. There wasn't enough time for them to have a coordinated conversation. We would have seen text messages like, "Find us a path out of here. This guy's behind me." Um, so I think that is a very, very good point. I was thinking the same thing. They're already looking for a path before there's anyone there telling them what to do. So again, Blustery, thanks for your generosity. Jennifer, thanks for your generosity. See, this is the path that we go down, not that be a gun. And if that's what they were trying to say was that be a gun, that's clearly see this is the path that we go down. Baby, you should look back at your notes because you took really, really good notes that were like essentially a transcript of what they claimed was being said on this video, the state's version. Jennifer says they with RL going to see horses and he directs them down the hill. They don't sound scared even. That's definitely a possibility. Gia Pet says, "Help me," from Abby. And then Libby, "Abby, get down." Huh. Male guys, are they down the hill? Well, see where Gia Pet's getting all that, where she's hearing all that. My computer is putting up captions, and it said, let me see if I can get to where it said it. At some point, I was playing it on something, and the computer wrote, "No, no, 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 no." And I was like, "What? Where's this? No, 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 no." But
Yeah,
just
man.
see, this is and that's where she says path. We all hear that. It's not picking up anything else. There's no path going there, so we have to get on here. It's not picking up anything that's not audible. I wonder what I was watching it on where it saw it say no, 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 no. Oh, I did download it. I mean, this is crazy.
It's crazy. Now, imagine sitting in court and we get the sense that they're about to show it, and then they show it one time. And then eventually we get to see the enhanced and then finally the stabilized. So I think we saw each one of the videos 2 times total in a 5-week trial. And like you're imagine not being able to go through and rewind it and watch it a million times. It's like I'm so happy that this is out to the public. I'm so happy. I cannot wait until the interrogation videos are out.
Yeah, everybody's right. These are her 2 legs crossing each other. Okay. Then there's a shadow there and 2 legs or something right there, it looks like. And then you can see Libby's shadow, like her shoe moves, her shadow moves. You'll see her shoe again. Oh, did I already pass all the her shoe pocket? Like there's so you can see her shadow right there. And hmm, what's that lower shadow?
Keep playing the sound over and over and over. I just want to keep hearing the sound. Did you say Mandy sent it to me? Thank you for doing that and sharing it with us, DB, by the way.
Yep, thank
Sounds
you.
awesome. I wish I want to listen to it on headphones. Like that's like a million times.
Now what is this? What are these shadows right here at the end? I don't know. I guess that could be dirt, not even the shadow. Oh boy.
All right. I changed the the girls never write a description on the lives. I updated that.
Well, why don't you try playing the sound DB sent?
This all right, but
But
let me ask
wait.
here, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Like objectively, I want the chat to tell me once we get the clear view of the guy behind of bridge guy, when he gets closer, when we get the closer shot, does that even at the distance, does that appear to be a 5'4", 5'5" guy? I mean, that dude does not like he just doesn't look like a 5'5" guy is really, really small. Just like when you see Richard Allen in real life, he is always by far the smallest guy in the courtroom.
All right. Now, somebody tell me what this is because Bob says this is her hood. So you can see
Well,
that.
remember, I told you that I have it on very, very, very good authority that originally the video that law enforcement was looking at was upside down. Okay. And so that I think might be her either her sweats, the pocket from her sweats, because the phone was down by her leg.
Oh,
So I think if you were to um reverse this and make it so like you know how you can change images so that it's upside down, I think that that's what like the original video would look like if you can
all right.
do that.
I can on my, but not show it to you guys.
I don't
So
think it's her arm, Michelle. Like so Allison's talking about that bulky thing that's kind of like in the left portion of the frame, the lower portion of the frame. If you go back a couple of frames, babe.
wait, what? Oh, so I mean, she's got to be facing front right there. So if that's, and now she's starting to turn. So
Who's starting to turn? Libby?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know. There's her feet.
And she seems so careful not to turn the phone all the way around, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Like all the way. Because right there, like just to the right off frame is the rail, the ties, the railroad track and the ties.
But whatever this is, if you're trying to say that's her
I
pants,
don't know exactly. Yeah. So
it's turning with her body in a
can
way.
you flip it upside down so we can see it? Because I'm
No,
telling you that the
not
original
not
video.
on this. No.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, I think I can do it on my screen grab that I did.
right. I can do it on. I've got all these players that I'm looking at it with on my phone. I mean, on my computer, and I can flip it. I can slow it. But I can't show it to you guys like that.
Okay, hold on.
I can flip vertically, or I can mirror, or I can rotate. Which are you saying would be correct?
Rotate it 2 times so that it's upside down.
Oh, it won't let me do it unless I upgrade to like a.
Here, dude, you just do it in your here. I have it. I'm gonna send it so we can put it up. This is
We're not gonna be able to hear it though.
well, I mean, it'll have the original audio. It won't
No,
have.
but we can't play the audio through unless you're holding it to your microphone. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna send the video. I'm gonna flip it upside down and send it.
Right, but then the sound you have to play from. I guess
I mean, you can play the sound the same way that you're doing it. The image
right.
is flipped upside down. That's all.
Oh yeah, I could do that on my computer too. Then actually.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna flip this twice. Okay.
There's like I don't know what de-interlace means.
All right. I'm gonna email it to me. Wow, this put a real hiccup in the old all right, here I'm gonna actually gonna email to you, babe. So you can just it's got the video. I'm gonna try to send the attachment. I don't know if it's too big.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree, bunny hats. Especially when now that you see the original video, you can imagine how many times and why it's so grainy when they blew up the the 3 seconds that we're all accustomed to watching with the picture where you can't make out anybody's face. It's because that's how far he is. And I don't think that that's the portion. It's the here, fast forward, move it a few frames where we get the clearer picture of the guy.
Wait, sorry, I'm not at the same. I'm not even on there anymore. You want the clear picture of bridge guy?
Yeah, when we see him, it is most clear.
Hmm. And that might be it.
Is that it? That's the closest. So I guess that's it. That's where they cut her out of the frame. They zoom in on him. I mean,
Could be right there.
yeah, whatever the case may be, that guy is 10 yards behind her at least. 10 yards, 12 yards. Like he's not right behind her. And he's on the rails. It's like you can't really tell how close he is by the time he says, guys down the hill. All right, I want to hear the sound some more, babe.
I thought you were sending me something.
I emailed you the upside down video, which is what law enforcement originally had because of the fact that she had her phone down by her leg. If you can imagine you trying to kind of surreptitiously take video, she's got the phone down by her leg, but the camera pointing.
All right, Mandy sent me bridge enhanced video.
What does that mean?
I don't know. And a screen record. That's the screen recording. But I don't have whatever you sent.
It hasn't come through?
Oh, I'll share this. It is on the internet, so I can share it.
Mandy, it says I need permission. I don't know.
All right,
What
hold
is
on, I
that?
got it.
Where did she grab this? See, people doing the work. People doing the work already.
All right, shh. It's DB's.
See, this is the path. There's no path going there, so we have to get on here.
I heard something right there, too.
Going there, so we have to get on here.
Guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Guys.
He sounds like Kermit the Frog there in the beginning. It's weird.
Guys.
It doesn't. Well, what I will tell you, that doesn't sound anything like what they played in court at all.
But you saw how he zoomed in.
Voice sounds like
How he seemed zoomed in on her. You can see she's the voice saying, "See what I mean?" See? That can't be her. That whatever that was right there cannot be the same person that just said, "See what I mean?" It sounds like from a different direction. It sounds like
where do you
voice.
think, like, what portion do you feel like you're hearing somebody say?
Wait, you're not hearing that other sound?
Not words.
Okay, right here. Right there. You didn't hear it? I don't know what you're doing, Bay.
I'm not hearing it. What do you want me to tell you? Like, you want me to lie? Yeah, I heard it.
Well, I just asked you and you didn't say no. I didn't hear it. So
I cannot hear it. You have headphones on. You're experiencing an entire different sound thing than I am. I'm using my Mac computer, my Mac shit. I hear a noise. I can't.
All right, don't talk. Oh. Yeah, right there. Right there. And I think that's what some people are saying sounded like, "Don't leave me." All right. I don't know what
Yeah,
to do.
well, I mean, let's go through the motion real quick and then we'll come back to the video. We'll take a little respite um from that and then we'll go back to it. I mean,
Well,
we
let's
could look at it, we
see what
could really look at
people are
it all
saying
night.
here. All right. So, all right, wait. We have Akasha says, what if the girls told an adult that they saw some? And Canoni's Baloney says, in my opinion, this is RL's confession. Ron Logan's confession. Thank you. Kaylee says, I hear Abby say at 6 seconds, is he right there?
That I think that's what they said that he said in court. Like that's what somebody I don't know if it was Liggett. I can't remember who was testifying. It was either I don't think it was Harshman. I think it was Liggett that testified that he listened
So
to it.
is that the first thing where we've been saying it sounds like, see what I mean?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking her. Because it sounds like see what I mean to me, but it could be, is he right there? It could be, is he right there? Where your mouth's moving too. Or see what I mean? Okay. And Julie says, if the state didn't plant that be a gun, nobody would hear that. Slimy. I'm not hearing it anyway, but Julie, do you hear it? Oh, there we go. Majestic Unicorn. I hear that be a gun. At the same wait, at which point? At the point where we're saying or at the end when she's clearly talking about a path. That's what I'm not sure where Majestic Unicorn is hearing that be a gun. And thanks for your generosity. Kenny Prowers, where's Ron Logan's PWBHEF and all the other 45 other cultists just behind the frame? I mean, Kenny, you can't just lock on to one. This has nothing to do with the defense, nothing to do with the state. This is us as human beings listening and trying to hear what we hear and what we see. Doesn't matter what both side could have put forward the wrong possible scenario. And thanks for your generosity, Kenny. Blustery, thanks for your generosity. The guy's part sounds like the guy she was talking to on the computer. Think he was arrested for something else. That's Kagan Klein. Someone else said the same thing. So what do you guys want to do? Should we move on to the motion and come back to this?
I think we should.
Okay.
So I think the way that we should handle it first. Well, do you want to go through the motion first, or do you want to go through the?
No, I'm going to go through the background.
Okay.
So a new Supreme Court case came out, and that is what the defense is relying on to file this motion to reconsider. So I'm going to go over with you guys just the law that the motion is relying on and where this is coming from. I've got to pull it back up, though. Okay. It's an 82 page opinion. We are obviously not going to go through all of that, but I'm going to tell you the parts we need to know legally and factually that are relevant to what we have going on here. So it's law heavy. All right. So in 1997, Justin Sneed beat Barry Van Treese to death with a baseball bat in an Oklahoma hotel owned by Van Treese and managed by petitioner Richard Glossip. Wait. Oh, right. In 1997, Justin Sneed. Okay. So ultimately, Sneed says that Glossip hired him to do it. So Sneed then testified against Glossip at trial in exchange for avoiding the death penalty, and Sneed's testimony was the only direct evidence connecting Glossip to the murder. The jury convicted Glossip and sentenced him to death. At a retrial, Sneed denied that he had been prescribed lithium or seen a psychiatrist. That is the argument, that the issue that we're going to be going over. It's the one of the issues that the court has reversed the conviction based upon. Now, let me just jump down so you can hear exactly what he said. So we're going to jump to page 9 real quick. So what was asked, the prosecution asked Sneed whether anyone had prescribed him any medication. Question: after you were arrested, were you placed on any type of prescription medication? Answer: when I was arrested, I asked for some Sudafed because I had a cold. But then shortly after that, somehow they ended up giving me lithium for some reason. I don't know why. I never seen no psychiatrist or anything. Question: so you don't know why they gave you that? Answer: no. And as you'll see as we go through this, what was decided was that that was false, absolutely false, and the state had a legal obligation to correct it, and they reversed because the state relied on presented or failed to fix false information. So Glossip subsequently filed several unsuccessful habeas petitions. Concerns over the integrity of his conviction led a bipartisan group of Oklahoma legislators to commission an independent investigation by a law firm, Reed Smith. And by the way, I'm like, okay, well, they should do that in the Karen Reed case. In any event, in June of 22, Reed Smith reported grave doubt about Glossip's conviction, citing factors such as prosecution's deliberate destruction of key evidence and false portrayal of Justin Sneed as a non-violent puppet. The state then disclosed 7 boxes previously withheld documents, and some of that's not necessary. So the state then discovered additional documents revealing that Sneed had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and prescribed lithium, contradicting his trial testimony. The attorney general determined that Smotherman, who was the prosecutor, had knowingly elicited false testimony from Sneed and failed to correct it in violation of NAPU, which held that prosecutors have a constitutional obligation to correct false testimony. Glossip filed a successive petition for post-conviction relief, and the attorney general supported conceding multiple errors that warranted a new trial. And the reason it's important here is like that the state's concession was not based on law or fact because it did not create a NAPU error. Is there's a little bit of a different analysis here as it relates to whether the record supports what this attorney had conceded was an issue. Did I miss another? No. Okay, so what happened in this case is the court found that the prosecution violated its constitutional obligation to correct that false testimony about him not seeing a psychiatrist and lithium for a cold. Under NAPU, a conviction obtained through the knowing use of false evidence violates the 14th Amendment due process clause. To establish a NAPU violation, a defendant must show that the prosecution knowingly solicited or allowed false testimony to go uncorrected. If a violation is established, a new trial is warranted if the false testimony could, in any reasonable likelihood, have affected the jury's judgment, meaning ordinarily that the prosecution must establish harmlessness beyond a reasonable doubt. Here, Oklahoma Attorney General joins Glossip in asserting that the NAPU error, conceding that Snead's testimony about the lithium prescription was false and that the prosecution knowingly failed to correct it. The record supports the confession of error. Evidence showed that Snead was prescribed lithium to treat bipolar disorder, not after asking for a cold, as he claimed at trial. The evidence likewise establishes that the prosecution knew Snead's testimony was false. The prosecution almost certainly had access to Snead's medical file through Snead's competency evaluation. Now I'm going to jump down here because this is important. We'll get some more details about what the state knew and what the defense knew. This is key here because this is what makes this very relevant to any argument you can expect to see from the state in this case about, well, the defense knew. And this is coming from the dissenting opinion. Sorry, this is coming from the opinion. Okay. So to start what they say, to establish a NAPU violation, defendant must show the prosecution knowingly solicited false testimony or knowingly allowed it to go uncorrected. If the defendant makes that showing, a new trial is warranted so long as the false testimony may have had an effect on the outcome of trial. That is, if it in any reasonable likelihood could have affected the jury's judgment. The judgment of the jury. In effect, this materiality standard requires the beneficiary of the constitutional error to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the error complained of did not contribute to the verdict. Oh, and that I had already read, but this is actually what I was jumping down to. Okay, so the evidence likewise establishes that the prosecution knew Snead's statements were false as he testified to them. The prosecution almost certainly had access to Snead's medical file, which would have listed both the lithium prescription and the bipolar diagnosis. Among other things, those records would have been provided to the state as part of Snead's competency evaluation, and the state opposed Glossip's discovery request for Snead's medical file. As the amicus and the dissent emphasize, lithium is prescribed only for mood disorders. It is undisputed that lithium's sole medical purpose, both in 1997 and today, is to treat bipolar disorder and other mental health disorders. Yet, the prosecution knew that Snead had previously told a competency evaluator that he had been prescribed lithium after his tooth was pulled. That statement was part of a competency record which both the state and Glossip had access. Prosecutors then heard Snead testify to a different version of event at trial, that the lithium had been given to him after he asked for Sudafed because he had a cold. So it's huge here that it doesn't matter to the court, to the Supreme Court, that the defense had access to this same information, and that the defense in all accounts should have known that he was taking lithium, and again should have known that should have probed or done something, because everybody knows that lithium is not prescribed for a cold or a toothache. So all right, let me get back to where I was here. And the court said because Snead's testimony was the only direct evidence of Glossip's guilt, the jury's assessment of Snead's credibility was material and necessarily determinative. Correcting Snead's lie would have undermined his credibility and revealed his willingness to lie under oath. And even more important here, the false testimony also bore on Glossip's guilt, because evidence of Snead's bipolar disorder, which could trigger impulsive violence when combined with his drug use, would have contradicted the prosecution's portrayal of Snead as harmless without Glossip's influence. Hence, there is a reasonable likelihood that correcting Snead's testimony would have affected the judgment of the jury. You can easily take that and flip it and apply it here, that this undermines the state's theory of how of the timeline of when things happened, and if the jury had known it, completely destroys their case. It would have affected the likelihood. I mean, it would have a reasonable likelihood that correcting it would have affected the judgment of the jury. So the OCCA is the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. Okay. The criminal appeals contrary holding rests on a mistaken interpretation of NAPU. The OCCA held that there was no violation because the defense was aware or should have been aware that Snead was taking lithium. But Snead's false testimony concerned the reason for his prescription, not merely the fact that he had taken it. Moreover, the due process clause imposes the duty to correct false testimony on the state, not the defense. And here, the appellate court specifically held that the evidence does not create a NAPU error. Defense counsel was aware or should have been aware that Snead was taking lithium at the time of trial. This fact was not knowingly concealed by the prosecution. Snead's previous evaluation and trial testimony revealed that he was under the care of a doctor who prescribed lithium. His testimony was not clearly false. Snead was more they also focused on the fact that they didn't knowingly conceal it, but that's not part of the evaluation. The court here reverses that lower court. Moreover, the OCCA's holding that Snead was likely in denial of his mental health disorder is.
All right, pause it for one. Hold on. Just if you're coming in late, what we're reading, this is a U.S. Supreme Court decision that just came down last month. If you're not familiar with the case of Glossip v. Oklahoma, Glossip was sentenced to death. Back, what year was it, hon?
1997.
1997. He was literally on 3 separate occasions nearly strapped into.
I mean, does any of that really matter for what
people are asking? Like, people
Okay.
are coming into the live, they don't know what we're looking at. So the reason that we're going through this is we want you to have a better understanding of what the motion that was filed by the defense yesterday, what it means in the cases they're citing.
And it's a
is-
U.S. Supreme Court. This
That's what
is
I
the
said.
United States. Yeah, I just saw
Right.
some comments. This is the United States Supreme Court. All
Yeah,
states have
it's-
to.
Yeah.
It's binding on every state.
Yeah. It's the law of the land.
All right.
Go ahead.
What matters is that the testimony was false and the prosecutor knowingly allowed it to stand. So that goes to say that even if who was this testified about the van? Ron Logan? No, babe.
Brad Weber.
Brad Weber. Even if Brad Weber was just wrong about what time he got down, he didn't perjure himself. He was just mistaken. That doesn't matter. The court said very clearly the holding that Snead was likely in denial of his mental health disorder is beside the point, because they said it wasn't perjury. He just was in denial of the fact that he was bipolar and that he was actually prescribed this medication. What matters is that the testimony was false and the prosecutor knowingly allowed it to stand. NAPU does not require that the false testimony itself must have directly affected the trial's outcome. NAPU requires assessing whether the prosecutor's failure to correct the testimony could have contributed to the verdict. Also unpersuasive are arguments based on extra record material and insufficient time spent interviewing the prosecutor. So I'm going to go to a couple of other points that are very relevant here. We already read what he actually testified
Are
to.
these from concurring opinions?
This is what we're going to get to now. Is the dissent, because that's where you're going to see what the prosecution here is probably going to argue and how it's not going to fly. So the opinion notes that the dissent faults Glossip for ignoring the lithium issue on direct appeal years earlier. Glossip had no reason to know that at the time of his direct appeal that the prosecutor, Smotherman, knowingly failed to correct Snead's false testimony about why he had been given lithium. However, so he would have had no occasion to raise his Napu or Brady claims then. So that's just saying that it goes to, well, the defense didn't raise it at trial. Any of those kind of arguments all fall flat according to the United States Supreme Court here. We read that. That's just the Napu holding. All right. So this is the part that deals specifically with this. Okay. The OCC's contrary holding rests on the mistaken interpretation of Napu. We kind of went over that it was a violation because the defense was aware or should have been aware that Snead was taking lithium, and the prosecution could not have knowingly concealed something the defense already knew. As an initial matter, Snead's false testimony concerned the reason for his lithium, not the fact that he was merely on it. Glossip's counsel was aware of the latter, not of the former. In any event, the due process clause imposes the responsibility and duty to correct false testimony on the representative of the state, not the defense. Again, we touched on this, that they said, well, and the appellate court was like, well, it wasn't clearly false because Snead, he was just in denial. And the court says, no, that doesn't matter. Even supposing he did, Snead's beliefs are beside the point. What matters is his testimony was false.
Now, the question that I had posed to you was, is there a responsibility from the defense if they're aware that the prosecutor is putting on false testimony at the time that it's happening? Do they have an obligation under the law to correct it if they can?
I just read, you probably weren't here for that part of the opinion that says it doesn't matter because the duty to correct false testimony is on the prosecution, not the defense. It's not the defense's duty to correct false testimony.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pull up the motion. Do you
Wait,
guys feel like,
what are you talking about?
Well, how much more do you have? I think that people are getting confused because like people that are coming in, that's how YouTube is. People come in, they drop in, and they're dropping in and they're seeing us read a case. They have no idea what it's about. They have no idea how it relates to Richard Allen. You know what I mean?
All right.
I mean, do you guys feel like you understand
Well, let me at
least
read this part because it's very important. Hence it's in red. Okay.
Right. Yes,
so the Supreme Court said, because the dissenting opinion was like, no, the defense knew about this. It's their fault. They didn't bring it up. This wasn't material. There's no evidence. No reason this would have changed the jury's opinion. So the court said the defense also argues Snead's lithium use was immaterial because, quote, the defense chose not to turn it into an impeachment issue. But each premise in that argument is mistaken. First, the defense did not choose not to raise Snead's mental condition. They asked about it on cross-examination, and Snead repeated his false testimony. Second, the defense did not know during trial that Snead had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. To the contrary, Glossip later sought, and the state successfully opposed, discovery on that issue. Third, even if the defense had made a conscious choice not to raise the then uncertain reasons for Snead's lithium use, that would be irrelevant to the prosecution's duty to correct false testimony when it appears. Pretty compelling, right, babe?
Super compelling. I mean, it goes right to and the reason that we're having Allison go through this case, which again is a Supreme Court case that just came down last month. This guy was granted a new trial after, I'm telling you, he was literally nearly strapped to the gurney 3 times. One time he was on the gurney and they were calling the governor because they didn't have the right mixture of, the stuff that they pump into him for the execution. And he got stayed like 3 times miraculously. Like this guy should have been dead. And now last month, the U.S. Supreme Court granted him a new trial. And the basis for that is born out of the Napui case or Napu. And what this case has done is they've taken that law, they've reaffirmed that it's good law, and they've expanded upon it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull up the motion that was filed by Richard Allen's defense attorneys, because it's important for you guys to understand precedent, how precedent works.
And let me just explain this other part here. So we're talking about the fact that Brad Weber's van, the state is arguing, well, the defense had this information and they made a conscious decision not to use it. It was turned over. They knew about it. So this case goes directly to that point, saying it doesn't matter that the defense knew. It's the prosecution's duty to turn it over. Now, this is even what this was the dissent's kind of position on the whole thing. And they say it would not have been challenging for the parties to deduce the reason for Snead's lithium prescription. It's undisputed that lithium's sole medical purpose, both in 1997 and today, was to treat bipolar disorder. I think I actually did read this to you guys. So they go on to say that were there any doubts about Snead's condition? Records long available to both sides resolve it. In 1997, Snead underwent a pretrial competency evaluation, and the report strongly suggested that Snead himself may have been in denial that he was taking lithium to treat bipolar disorder or a similar condition. They asserted that he did not think he had any serious, Snead didn't think he had any serious mental problems. He was given lithium by mistake, and the doctor said, no, he's mentally ill and he required treatment. She determined he likely had an atypical mood swing disorder and characterizes ups and downs, including anger outbursts. His present medication, i.e. lithium, is probably helping him control it. The defense was well aware of this report before Glossip's second trial. In fact, on direct appeal in his first conviction, Glossip's appellate attorney, so that's like what's happening here, although it's not an appeal, it's in a post-conviction thing, faulted his trial counsel for not using King's report to show the jury Snead was taking lithium to control his anger. Nevertheless, the appellate court vacated his first conviction, and Glossip declined to seek further pretrial discovery on the issue or raise it during the second trial. So this is the dissent trying to say to the Supreme Court, the majority opinion, wait a minute, no, we should not reverse this guy's conviction. The defense knew about this. They made a conscious decision not to use it because it was going to hurt their case. That's the argument that the state is making in this case. And the majority opinion here clearly says, go to hell. It doesn't matter. The state had a duty to correct the false testimony, and they didn't, and he gets a new trial, period, the end. One other justice also said that because of the 1997 pretrial report informed the defense of Snead's prescription and condition, that they shouldn't reverse it. They determined that counsel had likely made a strategic decision not to base a defense on them, nor was there any NAPU violation according to the court because Snead's testimony was not false, which we already focused on. So there are some other things I think I highlighted, but I think we've got the gist of it here, and the purpose is just to show, even if the defense knew about it, even if they're arguing that the defense chose not to use it, it doesn't matter. Not under this case law.
All right. Can I pull it? Can I pull it up?
Yeah.
Like both versions we have are not super crisp, and mine came mine came from the clerk. I don't know why looks a little fuzzy, but for y'all, I think it'll probably be readable. All right. So just so you have an idea of how this went down procedurally. So about a month ago, the defense filed what they call a motion to correct error. Okay?
And babe, one last thing before you say that, but the other thing the defense specifically said, and that's what the state is arguing here, that it's likely the reason that the defense didn't bring this up is that it was counterproductive to their defense. showing that this guy was mentally vulnerable to Glossip's manipulation and control. Or perhaps the defense believed it would not be credible, or argued that Snead acted out of impulse in a manic state, given other witness testimony that was consistent with him being mild-mannered. They said for whatever reason, the defense chose not to turn Snead's medical health into an impeachment issue, and that left no challenge. The dissent is claiming for the defense to now make this claim, and the majority says, again, go to hell. No, the state had to correct it.
So we had a question from LexisNexis or Nexus Lexis asking how would they do that?
How would they do what?
How does the state correct? So if you're the prosecutor and you have a witness that says something that they know to be false.
One of two ways. So sometimes you'll see them sort of reframe a question and be like, well, for example, there's times where we always ask a witness, how many times did you meet with the prosecution? Did you guys discuss this? And I've seen on cross, the state clean that up by saying, didn't we meet yesterday? So that's one way they do it. They kind of say, well, but didn't you actually have, lithium was prescribed to you. You saw this doctor at this time, or they call, a sidebar and say, Your Honor, that he testified falsely. We're going to enter a stipulation that was false testimony, and here's the correct testimony. In one of those kind of ways.
And then Tammy, no, that relates to what you're talking about with the Reese Davis letters. That is a possible Brady violation that they didn't turn those over. So this is a different thing. All right. So, but again, procedurally, the defense filed the motion to correct errors. We went through that with you guys when that was filed. Of course, that was denied by Judge Gull. We then had a couple of more filings. They were both of the nature of preserving and providing or turning over evidence. That being the Reese Davis letters was the most recent one. Recently, we went through that motion. We then went through the state's reply, and then we went through McClelland's response. And then finally, we went through Andrew Baldwin's reply to that. Now, those relate to a completely different issue. All right. So what the defense is doing here is they're sending it back to not the appellate court. This is going back to the trial court. So back to Judge Gull. And they're saying, okay, Judge Gull, we have this new opinion that came down from the U.S. Supreme Court. And we think that it's on point with what happened in Richard Allen's trial. So we're asking you, when you ask a judge to reconsider, you're asking them to change their mind on how they ruled initially. So as you can imagine, those don't get granted very often, but it's a very compelling argument. And remember, the point of doing this is not so much that they think that Gull is going to grant it. It's to make the record for the appellate court. So the notice of appeal has been filed in this case. That's just letting the appellate court know an appeal and a brief is coming. It's so the brief has not been filed. When that comes out, that's probably going to take us 3 lives to read through the brief with you guys, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So that's just to give you an idea of where we're at, what this filing is, and what they're hoping to accomplish with it. So
right, and it's all Brad Weber's testimony about when he got home. That's the equivalent to
she breaks it down pretty well in here.
Yeah.
So come now, defendant Richard Allen by counsel and files his motion to reconsider denial of motion to correct errors for the reasons that follow in light of Glossip v. Oklahoma, which Allison just went through with you guys. Mr. Allen requests the court reconsider its denial of that motion and either vacate Mr. Allen's convictions or set the motion for a hearing. At trial, the state argued that Brad Weber, now just if you're not super familiar with the facts of the case, Brad Weber lived down off of the trails, down the hill. There's a private drive that was owned by Brad Weber, and his parents' property was down there. Okay. So that's who Brad Weber is. And he was, I believe, the last testimony that was heard by the jury. He was the last witness that they called during their case in chief. I believe. I'm fairly certain he was the last guy. And it was the very heated thing because he gets on and he's going to testify what we're about to talk to. It took the defense by surprise. So at trial, the state argued that Brad Weber came home from work in his Ford Econoline van on February 13th, 2017 at approximately 2:30 p.m. The state also argued that Liberty German's cell phone did not move after 2:32 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. The state further introduced a confession written by Dr. Monica Walla that Richard Allen told her that on February 13th, 2017, he kidnapped Abigail Williams and Liberty German on the south side of the Monon High Bridge and was on the south side of Deer Creek with the girls, intending on assaulting them when he saw a van and became scared. Richard Allen allegedly told Dr. Walla that after he saw the van, he forced Abigail Williams and Liberty German to cross Deer Creek to the north side, where he ultimately unalived them. As set out in his motion, the state knew or should have known that Brad Weber's trial testimony that he returned home in his van at about 2:30 p.m. on February 13th, 2017, before LG's phone permanently stopped moving at 2:32 p.m. was false. See motion to correct errors at pages 8 through 13 and the attached exhibits 3A, 3B, 3CD, and 3E. In fact, Mr. Weber arrived on his private drive after 2:44 p.m., well after LG's phone stopped moving on the north side of Deer Creek at 2:32 p.m. See motion to correct errors. The significance of this is that is the entire case of the state. The state's entire closing argument was that 2:32 was when the state believes the girls were unalived. That the movement stoppage of Libby's phone is
The time of their death.
That's it. So, and when they use that time of death, and then they use this thing that was written by Walla, and it wasn't handwritten. She destroyed her notes that she used allegedly to write this thing out and type it directly into the computer. And now what the defense did in their motion to correct errors is they attached the video with the timestamp, which is what the state's going to fight on. That's the state is going to try to say that that timestamp is not accurate.
Because all their other arguments are basically kiboshed by the ruling we just went over in Glossip.
Right. So, but when they use those together, that created their entire theory of the case. So you can see how critical having this guy take the stand and say that he left work and he came straight home and that he drove his van down that private drive, that then becomes the van that Monica Walla says that Richard Allen is referring to at 2:30, right before the girls are unalived. You see, that's their entire theory of the case. So additionally, exhibit 3 to the motion to correct errors, an FBI subject information sheet for Mr. Weber shows that Mr. Weber's cell, his cell phone first started pinging at his family's house at 2:50 p.m. that day. Also, well after LG's phone stopped moving at 2:32 p.m. The pinging of Brad Weber's phone is consistent with his arrival after 2:42 p.m. and not consistent with an arrival time of 2:30 p.m. In light of the security video and the FBI subject information sheet for Brad Weber, the state's narrative that Mr. Weber interrupted Mr. Allen before 2:32 p.m. is impossible, and the state knew it. The OCCA, now this is pulling directly from Glossip, in Glossip v. Oklahoma decided last month, the United States Supreme Court said the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals also held that Snead's testimony was not, quote, clearly false because Snead was, quote, more than likely in denial of his mental health disorders. It is not apparent why the OCCA thought Snead was in denial, nor why such denial should have caused Snead to believe that he had never seen a psychiatrist, when in fact he had. Even supposing it did, however, Snead's beliefs are beside the point. What matters is that his testimony was false, and a prosecutor knowingly let it stand nonetheless, citing Napu or Napu. I've Googled how
Whichever,
people
go on.
right. So it is established that a conviction obtained through the use of false evidence known to be such by representatives of the state must fall under the 14th Amendment, which is, of course, the Due Process Clause. So Glossip, that's the site. Okay, so regardless of whether Mr. Weber thought he arrived home at about 2:30 p.m., the state knew or should have known Mr. Weber's testimony was false and, quote, knowingly let it stand, id. The state's refusal to correct Mr. Weber's testimony and letting his false testimony stand violated Mr. Allen's due process rights to a fair trial, as stated in Napu, and argued by Mr. Allen in his motion to correct errors. Because the state explicitly relied on Mr. Weber's false testimony to obtain Mr. Allen's convictions, Mr. Allen is entitled to a new trial. And then it quotes Napu. A new trial is warranted so long as the false testimony, quote, may have had an effect on the outcome of the trial. That is, if it, in any reasonable likelihood, it could have affected the judgment of the jury. And that's Giglio v. U.S., quoting Napu. So there's a...
That's fine. Go on.
Okay. Okay, so in light of Glossip's unambiguous reaffirmation of Napu, excuse me, the court should reconsider its denial of Mr. Allen's motion and either vacate his convictions or set Mr. Allen's motion for a hearing. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons, Mr. Allen respectfully requested the court reconsider its denial of his verified motion to correct errors and either vacate Mr. Allen's convictions or set that motion for a hearing and for all other relief just and proper in the premises. So there you go. So you've been able to put together the case law that supports the motion, and it's short and sweet. Jennifer Auger wrote this, and it breaks it down. It's a pretty simple concept, because remember the security video that shows the van driving down the private drive is from the state's discovery. That's the important part of this. This wasn't dug up by the defense somewhere and the state didn't know about it. It all came to them from the state in the discovery that they received from the state.
I kind of wish they would have included that language. And that's the reason why we went over some more of the holding in that case that contradicts what the state is arguing. So I wish they would have cited the portion of the case that says, doesn't matter if the defense knew, doesn't matter if the defense should have known, doesn't matter if the defense intentionally chose not to use it. It is the prosecution's duty to correct a false testimony, not the defense.
This isn't about it being new evidence, Joan. That's not at all what this motion's about.
That's why, again, we just went through the holding in Glossip to establish that when during the first and second trial, this information was already turned over to the defense. The mere fact that he was on lithium and the corresponding argument that, well, everybody, you didn't need to see that he had seen a psychiatrist to know he had seen a psychiatrist to get it. You didn't need to know, have evidence that he wasn't just had a cold or a toothache to know that that's not what lithium is prescribed for. So it did not matter that it wasn't new evidence. It did not matter that the defense already was aware of it. It mattered that the state allowed false testimony to stand. And I'm just going to do some of the super chats that deal with this before we switch back over to the video. Julio says, to be fair, Snead might have been embarrassed to say why he was on lithium, but F the government regardless. And it's not Snead's fault. Again, it could have been handled with a stipulation after the fact, with Snead gone from the stand. Oh, and Mindful Couture's thanking us for the Defense Diaries episode. And
Yeah,
Voodoo
New
Vicky,
Garcia drop.
right, says, thanks, Bob and Allie, for your knowledge of the law, fighting for Richard Allen, letting us into your home.
Yeah, I mean, Trish, that's a highly I mean, I think that I'm hoping that she'll at least grant she has not denied. She still hasn't denied the motion to produce and preserve. She still hasn't denied that. So that's still out there. And again, that is relating to the Reese Davis letters. So that exists in the world, and that is out here. This also, in my opinion, requires a hearing. I think that because you have to think about it from her perspective. At some point, now that the notice of appeal has been filed, she knows an appeal is coming. Like, if she wants the conviction to stand, she has to take that into consideration. She has to think, okay, this is a pretty powerful motion, as short as it is, because if Nick McClelland can't come in to court in an evidentiary hearing and show me that the timestamp is wrong unequivocally, then it appears very much so that he knowingly put on false testimony. And she sat in that trial. And there is, without question, that theory that was put forth by the defense through Brad Weber and through Monica Walla is what got Richard Allen convicted. The van thing was it. Once that van thing became a thing at that trial, that it took over. Like, the bullet didn't matter. The confessions, believe it or not, other than the one that Walla drafted up and typed into her computer, didn't matter. It was Richard Allen saying something that only the killer could know, which is that a van spooked him. And then Brad Weber coming in and sitting on the stand and saying, yeah, I got off of work over at the Subaru plant in Lafayette, and then I drove home. And I was coming right down that private drive 2 minutes before the state's telling you that the girls were unalived. That's it. Like, if you're of the opinion, and I don't care if you think Allen's guilty or innocent or what your opinion is on it, if you care about how justice in this country is going to be had, you cannot allow for this kind of shit to go on. You can't allow for it. You can't have prosecutors making it up as they go along in order to secure convictions. It should scare the hell out of you. It just should. So, in my opinion, while everybody's like, because we all know it's her tagline. I should get a t-shirt made of it, denied without hearing. It's what she does. However, when the pressure of the appeal, now she knows for a fact, and she always assumed that they were going to file an appeal, but now that the notice of appeal is there, if she doesn't think that this might be, without a hearing at least, if she doesn't think that this might be an automatic redo, she should talk to some of her brethren. She should talk to some of her colleagues.
By the way, in the dissent part of this opinion in Glossip, they took issue with the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court just literally reversed his conviction and gave him a new trial, and said what should have happened is it should have gone back to the lower court for a hearing. So, I feel like there was some other language there that could have been cited as well.
I mean, because if it gets to the point where there's a hearing and McClelland's going to come in and try to say that the timestamp's wrong, well, you should have looked at that before you put that man on the stand to say what time he pulled in, if you knew that there was a video of him pulling in. Like that, I don't know what McClelland's going to be able to say to overcome this, because if he's going to rely on testimony, knowing that this video of him pulling in shows a different time, and he did nothing to try to verify that time was incorrect, he's still done the same thing. He's put a person on the stand knowing that there's a timestamp on a video that shows him coming in at a different time, a later time, which destroys his timeline. Like I don't see how he works around it, to be honest with you.
Me either. And the again, the Supreme Court opinion in Glossip said that, you know, at the very least, Glossip cannot show that he is entitled to relief without an evidentiary hearing. So it says that even if the court is correct that the court had jurisdiction and that the appellate court was misapplied NAPU, the appropriate remedy is to remand for a hearing. So I don't know how she's going to think. She
Hey, what's up?
doesn't.
So Phil says the video seems like they were intentionally going somewhere nearby with BG, like to buy or exchange something. I mean, there seems to be like, but I'm looking at the tweet when I tweeted out that this thing was out and I've got the video attached to it. And like, you're getting both sides of it. Like people are saying, oh my God, the girls sound terrified in the audio. And you've got people like, well, they don't sound terrified. They sound like they might know him. It's like, that's all our different perceptions. That's the entire point of showing this jury that video as many times as they needed to see it. We sat in that courtroom and like, you've got lawyers like Lee, Andrea, myself that are all doing our very best to try to suck in everything that's happening in that courtroom, namely the words and what we're observing. And it's like, it's just, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to be able to look at this video one time and have an understanding of what's going on and trying to understand distances in you know, what's being said and when it's being said and what do the shadows mean and how far behind is he? How long does it take him to catch up? Is there somebody else there? Why is she whispering to herself? Like, you know, like all those things that this video, and it's so haunting to sit here and watch something where you know what the terrible end result of it was. It's like it gives me goosebumps, and not in a good way, every time that I watch this thing and when I hear it, you know, but it's like,
I'll say
I,
he's only about 6 to 8 slats behind her right here. You can count them. 1, maybe that's 2, I don't know. 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7.
No, they're not that thick, dude.
Well,
Like
then maybe 7 or 8. They're pretty thick. Look at them here. Look how thick is one.
I know how thick a railroad tie is. They're pretty uniform. They're about 6 to 8 inches.
So is this 2? Is that what you're saying? That's 2, not 1?
No, those are split. Those ties are split. Like that thing's in serious disrepair.
So that's 2.
So, but yeah, I'd say
then there could be 16 if that's 2. But
what I'm saying is that, like, I don't think that you can see all of the separations of the ties. Like, I don't know that that's. Is there a clearer picture of it? Did you get? See, because you can see how like when you were there, where you can see the gaps in between, like you can tell, like it's, you know, when you've got the situation where you're not able to even see the gaps between the railroad ties,
right,
you can't really tell how many it is.
Well, yeah, when I go like that, it doesn't let me, because I can zoom in when I'm in this setting here, like without doing full screen. So, but I'm limited in so wait. Oh, that right, okay. That's kind of, you can see how that she's only, I mean, she's not that far from the edge there. What do you want to do? What does everyone want to do?
What do you guys want to do? Well, let's watch it a couple more times and let's call it. I think, did you get the video from Mandy? Were you able to, because she was able to put the enhanced sound with the video.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hold your phone up.
Well, but I'm going to have to hold my phone up anyway. It doesn't matter though. Oh, wait, is this the... I can't tell. Is this it? Because then I said, want me to start. Wait. Oh, that's something different. That was me sending you my screen grab. Okay. This is one I enhanced the audio on. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share this, but I'll have to play the sound from...
All right. So before you do that, all right. So play it. There's this video, though, like kind of the only video that exists out there where you can hear Rick Allen speaking he's in Gatlinburg with Kathy, and they're on a ski lift. So after we listen to the bridge guide speaking a few times, I'm going to play that video.
Oh, wait, I've got to start it here. Okay, wait. All right.
See, this is the path at your house. There's no path going there, so we have to get down here.
Guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, I heard something different there that I did not hear the other times.
All right. So play it again.
It was somewhere right around like when she's passing by, and it was kind of crazy. It sounded very different than the first time. All right. Should I turn my mic up?
Wait, doesn't this have the sound on it already?
Can't share sound if it's not online, you know this. So I was playing it through my mic, so hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
See, this is the path at your house. There's no path
Right
going there, so we have to get down here.
Right there, I thought I heard maybe possibly a gun.
Maybe. Go back.
All right, I'm going to take off the video and just play the sound.
Path at your house.
Did you hear that? What'd you hear?
Do it again.
Empty it out. See, this is the path. Empty it out. There's no path going there, so we have to get on here.
Is it that noise?
No, it was right before she talks about the path. Here,
See, this is the path.
right here.
Empty it out. Empty it out. See, this is the path. Empty it out. See, this is the path. Empty it out. There's no path going there, so we have to get on here.
So Travis says a tie is 19.5 inches. So from tie to tie? What do you mean? So he's 9 to 11 ties behind them, 19.5 inches tie to tie. So is that the front end of the tie? You're not saying there's is there a 19.5 inches between each tie? No, no way. Really? That doesn't seem right. I mean, Travis doesn't come with bullshit, though. Wow. Yeah, I think I hear her say, "Dat be a gun." I think I hear her say that, but I like it's hard to know if it's not,
So that's about as
confirmation
close as we can
bias.
get right now, Nicole. Nicole's like, can't someone go and count them? I'm trying not to talk so loud because my mic's still at 200. Count the wooden slabs between Liddy and Bridge Guy based on the photo. We just got the best we can there with Travis. Thanks, Jen, for your generosity. Jessica says this is mind-blowing. Wonder what their motive for dropping this. My gut says there is one. Yeah, I think they want to get all the evidence out there. I think
They
they're
wanna get
tired.
the evidence out to the public. So that people like Joan, maybe if they're being intellectually honest, will look at all the evidence and then reach their own conclusion instead of listening to Brett and Alice and the murder squeaks. So that's what I say, Michael. 30
Mike-
yards behind. I thought 30 feet, about 10 yards behind.
Well, I just put this up there. Her husband is a train engineer, said they're approximately 14 to 16 inches apart.
Ties are okay. All right.
Guys. Yeah.
So does I'd like, can we put up a vote? I'm going to play the guys down the hill part again if people think it's two different voices or not.
Well, and then I want to play this version of this thing that I've got too. So
Guys. Yeah. Guys. Yeah.
I don't know.
Guys. Yeah.
I mean, the guys sounds more nasally to me, but
Yeah, it could be the same. And I think people are thinking that that's gun. That's definitely high. After
Yeah.
guys, it's definitely high.
hi. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna pull this thing up. This is the only thing that is out there that's got Rick Allen speaking.
Alan's voice can be heard making a rare appearance in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, riding the skylift with his wife.
Down we going down. Shut up. It's not going to snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not going to snap. Oh my God.
There's the wheelchair coming up.
What? Oh my God. Lonely wheelchair. Wasn't that interesting? Why are we stopping? Why are we stopping? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh my God. It's way up the hill. I don't know about this. Oh.
Watching the cables now. There's the wheelchair coming up.
I mean, could be, couldn't be. That's.
I mean, like, you know, and you've got Harshman on the stand saying that he's listened to the audio of, you know, 700 hours of Richard Allen. He's sitting there, oh yeah, it's definitely him. I mean, there's no way, like, it sounds exactly like Ron Logan. Yeah, it sounds like every dude in Indiana.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like this Indiana kind of accent voice. I was honestly gonna say that.
I don't know. Well, I'm really glad the evidence is starting to make its way out there. I think it's important. Very, very important. I think the world needs to see it and hear it. And people can start forming their own opinions. And, you know, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, my hope is that Michael Osbrook's motion to correct errors will finally get the hearing it deserves based on Ajay's motion to reconsider. I think that it should at least have a hearing. Like, I mean, Gull. To me, if she denies even a hearing, I think that the appellate court is going to have no choice but to send it back for a retrial. Which, okay.
I do as well.
Yeah.
I do as well. And Mike, thanks for your generosity. I don't think any of us doubt that she said this is the path that we go down. I think the question becomes, so you asked me for a timestamp, and thanks for your generosity again, but I'm using that enhanced video, so it's hard. Let me try to grab the timestamp from the original, but it's just as Abby is passing Libby. There's something said there that sounded different in what Bob just gave us than in what I heard when we listened to it in the tweaked one that
No, see, the thing about enhancing things is that when you get people that have never heard the original and they start hearing the enhanced, it sounds like he's right there, when in reality he's not. I mean, like, it's got to be put out there that what's floating out there now is enhanced video, because when you listen to the original, when I played it off what was originally posted today, you can't even, I can barely hear him saying, I can hear him say guys, but the down the hill is very faint, which
So
tells you that there's still a distance between him and the girls.
So I just want to bring back this portion again. You can see down here Abby's shoe, okay? And on the one that DB made, you're hearing crunching at this very same time of somebody walking, but you can see that Abby's not walking until then. But I thought I heard crunching over here during like this time. And you can see Libby's shadow that she's not moving. Her legs aren't moving. You can still see the shadows here. So I found that to be.
Yeah, see, that's what I think too, Sleuthy. If we were to go back to that video, I hear like a country twang in Alan's voice. Like we're no, like you see, he sounds more like what's his face, Billy Bob in whatever that movie was.
Let me ask you this. So,
down to your voice.
So-
Give me the bread fried tater. What was that? I can't remember the name of the movie.
as Abby is approaching Libby here, would her shadow be creating this shadow behind Libby's legs? See that?
I don't know.
Because when she passes, you can see her shadow is up here. You see it getting dark light at the top, dark light at the top. But the shadow at the bottom, in between her legs, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, I want to put this thing up one more time. All right, so give us the bridge guy sound again.
On which?
The video you have. DB's hands.
DBs. Okay, without okay.
I agree, Michael. I don't know why they distorted it.
All
Like
right.
in court, I mean, it went by so fast. I couldn't.
Here we
I
go.
couldn't make out what was said.
I'm gonna play it. It's a second behind.
See, this is the path of the house. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, play it one more time, just from down the hill, guys down the hill. No,
I'm just gonna play the sound. Oh,
no, I was
There, so
no, the state
Guys.
elected me to do it.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah.
All right, now I want to pull this up real quick.
Guys.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can just do that. All right, perfect. Wait, keep that at the ready.
Guys.
The cable snap.
Shut up. It's not gonna snap. Shut up.
His wife.
Down we going down.
The cable snap.
Shut up. It's not gonna snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not gonna snap.
she put them both together at the end there.
There's the wheelchair coming up.
What? Oh my god. Lonely wheelchair. Wasn't that interesting?
Yeah, he's
Just-
got a little
just-
bit of there's a wheelchair coming up. He's got like a little bit of a
Because at the end she played them back to back. That part and
turn your
the
mic down, Bay. You're screeching. Or like whisper.
The cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up. There's the wheelchair coming up.
He's got a
September
very
23rd, 2018.
distinct inflection. There's a wheelchair coming up. It doesn't sound like his voice to me, but you can hear this like kind of like, I don't know how to describe it.
There's the wheelchair coming up.
September 23rd.
There's a wheelchair coming up.
yeah, it's a little more
There's a
little more-
wheelchair coming up. Like that's what he sounds like. I mean, it's like there's a wheelchair coming up. I don't know.
It's a little bit of a more mumbled kind of.
There's a wheelchair coming up.
Yeah.
There's a wheelchair coming up.
Guys, down the hill.
All right, that's not the same voice.
I don't think it is now when I hear it again.
Sorry,
Everything's so dry.
not the same voice. There's the prof already going at it, figuring it all out. Okay. Well, big day in the Delphi case. The light is starting to shine on this case.
Thanks, Jessica. It does sound like two different voices, guys, and down the hill. It
There's a
could.
wheelchair coming up.
It's like 1 second, I think. No, but I mean the guys and the down the hill, but
Nah, I think
the
that's the same
sound
voice.
changes in
I
the.
think it's the same voice. It sounds like. I mean, it definitely sounds a little nasally with the guys. Sounds like Froggy, like guys down the hill, guys. Like I don't know. Like to me, I think that's probably the same voice. What's more important is that in that comparison, that does not sound like Richard Allen. Like he's got a very distinct speaking pattern. There's a wheelchair coming up. It's like it doesn't sound the same. I don't know.
Maybe the
Well-
defense should have
We
recorded.
know what hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are going to be doing for the next 5 hours, and that's watching that video, listening to that video, finding this video that we just watched, comparing the voices, and good. I hope that they are. I hope that they are. So, case that never sleeps, and thank God for that, because from where I sit, there's an innocent man sitting in prison, sentenced to 130 years. So I'm thankful to everybody that's out here still fighting, namely this dude, Osbrook, right there. He's heading the charge, I'll tell you that. And
Thanks, Tammy, by the way, for your generosity. Gotcha.
all right, you guys, we're gonna
Wait, let
let's
me
go
just-
through and
there's
thank some. Did you thank everybody? Did you get through all of them?
Almost. Alex Trev, thank you for your generosity. He says, thanks for your continued tireless coverage of this case, Allie and Bob. Jen, I'll thank you again for your generosity. And I think that we got, well, Jessica wants to know, why did the state decide to stop fighting the release of the video? I don't know that the state did decide to stop fighting the release
They
of
didn't
it.
have any
Right.
choice in this.
Yeah.
As
I
soon
think
as
defense
Judge
just did it.
so that was the other thing we probably should have thrown up. Judge Gull entered an order today. Do you have that order?
No, and I do we have a clip of Ron Logan talking? Because objection cake, thanks
Yeah,
for
there-
generosity.
There's tons of
Well,
clips of Logan.
we should play that.
Yeah.
And JD, thanks for your generosity. Appreciate you both. Can't wait till the interrogation vids come out. Yeah, right.
You and me both. You and me both. I've got a little treat for you, honey, that we can't do on the live. All right, so
Are you looking for the order, or are you looking
no,
for his
I'm
voice?
pulling up Logan.
All right, objection. Hopefully, you're still here. Objection cake.
John and Andrea, people here in Delphi. Against the beauty of the sunshine and bright blue skies Wednesday, it was still hard for Ron Logan to believe the violence visited upon two young teens just out for a hike on a day off from school.
What's it,
Who would
Ron?
have thought they let their children out to do something special that day, take a trip down, and it turn out with a disaster like this?
For 53 years, Logan's lived on the country.
Wind it.
Wait, I think there's more.
Okay.
Down with their children, and yeah, it's quite a nice little trail, and the bridge is really.
Never, though, has Logan seen anything like what he has this week. The search for an eventual discovery of the bodies of Libby German and Abby Williams.
The area that they were in is very hard to get to. I mean, you can't get there unless you walk there. I mean, so somebody would be walking with them or something.
Those are the
Pause
same
it.
thoughts Marvin Sandifer keeps mulling
Pause
over. His daughter used to hike the same trail.
Guys. Down the hill.
Sounds a lot more like that.
Yeah.
You can't get there unless you walk there. I mean, so somebody would be walking with them or something.
Those are the same kind of thoughts Marvin Sandifer keeps.
Why won't you pause it so I can play his voice right after that?
Oh, okay. Here, I'll do it one more time.
You can't get there unless you walk there. I mean, so somebody would be walking with them or something.
Guys. Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah.
I actually think that does sound more like it.
Sounds
That's-
more like him than Rick Allen does.
Somebody would be walking with them or something.
Those are the same kind of thoughts Marvin Sandifer keeps mulling on.
Let's see if Marvin sounds.
Daughter used to hike the same trail.
She said, I've seen a couple scruffy looking guys back in there, but
back in there.
Nah.
Nah, not him. Okay, so
And thanks,
Marvin
Jessica.
Sanford. Marvin Sanford's cleared.
Can't get there unless you walk there. I mean, so somebody would be walking with them or.
Oh, how do you know that? That sounds like a fact only the killer would know. Somebody had to be walking with them. Well, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
It's Ron Logan. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, it doesn't sound like Rick Allen to me. Like, out of that clip, like, Rick's just got a very distinctive thing. Sling blade. Thank you, Beach Gal. That's exactly what it was.
And thank you, Jolene, for your generosity.
I like the way you talk. Did you make it all the way through?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
So you guys.
I didn't.
Oh.
Brian, thanks for your generosity. This wasn't the evidence that was going to solve the case. They have us chasing our tails.
I mean, I cannot disagree. You gave Jolene.
Well, no,
love.
but I did. But it's the basis of. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm talking about two different things. I was just going to say I was going back to the motion, but we're talking about the video.
No, I think the motion warrants a lot. You know, the motion's taking a back seat right now because the video the world has been waiting to see for 8 years now is finally out there in its full glory or horror, depending on which way you look at it, or both. And like Michael's saying, it's probably too late in terms of I'm assuming they're talking about her granting an evidentiary hearing, or you might be talking about that this was filed. The motion to reconsider was not filed timely, which is exactly what Allison was asking me last night.
No, all we need to know is the date that
when it was denied.
That it was denied. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael, do you know offhand what date your motion to correct error was denied offhand? Or does anybody, Sleuthy, you in here? And is the rule 30 days from that?
February 14th. I mean, it's 30 days here. It might be, let's see, Indiana.
I mean, then Illinois would be timely.
Yep. Oh, they got 10.
Oh,
So what did I just say the date was?
the 14th. That meant they're late.
Aye.
10 days?
Yeah. I mean, if I don't know if Michael's still here, but a quick search, reconsider a ruling must be. But if it's 10 days within new law, when did the case came out? The 20.
What, Glossip?
Yeah.
I think that's been more than 10 days too.
Let's see. I got it up. I thought it was released the 25th. And there's only 28 days. Yeah, decided February 25th.
And was that when it was published?
Yeah, so that's 3 days. Oh, it's the 12th. I don't know when it was published. I mean, that's when it says.
Wait, this was filed on the 11th.
Oh, on the 11th. So that's still.
Is it timely? Oh,
not
no.
if 10 days is the time.
Damn it.
But I don't know. Maybe when there's new law, the time is different. Let's see.
Hi there. That thing is so annoying. Like, I don't know what caused it.
15 days.
Is that what
From the
Michael
date,
said?
15 days from the date that the new law came down, if you're seeking a motion to reconsider.
Where'd you see that?
Trial Rule 81, Indiana Court Rules.
All right.
15 days. So that would have been, you got 3 days, brings you to March 1st. You're timely. It's the 14th day.
All right. There we go. All right. So another big day. Another big day in the case of Richard Allen. And I have a feeling now that the dam has been opened that we will hopefully be seeing a lot more evidence.
Wait, what was the ruling that Judge Gull handed down today? Bob?
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Wait, there's Matt just sent me something. Okay, wait. Hold on. I'm going to pull what the ruling today was that it was in relation to a third-party intervener motion, trying to get them to so she goes ahead and says again that, and it was Twist, who I know is Hannah, and she's like, hey, well, you're not real media. you're not bona fide, or I forget what term she used. You're not actual media.
Wow.
But so
I guess the defense
But at
decided.
any rate, she says
you.
that for $25 that we can send our request for a flash drive to Jody, and that she's going to send everybody all the evidence, but it's going to be when the record's prepared. Yeah. Yeah. Well, once that came down, I think that people felt okay about putting the bridge guy video out, because that happened after that.
Felt okay. It should have been the reverse. She said no.
No, then she said that she's
Once the record's prepared. Is the record prepared?
hold on. I'm just gonna let's just get the order. Like, why guess? Who's got it? Is Sleuthy still in here? Sleuthy, would you please send me the order? Because Renee didn't get it to me even late. Okay. Is Sleuthy still in here? I don't know if she's still in here. Hold on, let me text her. Because yeah, the order is interesting.
Did you say you had some other information you were going to share with us?
Yeah, there's an actual video of Ron Logan saying "down the hill," so that'll be worth checking out real quick before we leave.
Hope for those who left. Haha. Got to stick around till the end.
They dipped. Okay. Let me pull this up here.
If you just text it to me, I can do it.
Okay, babe. Okay. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. All right. I'm sending it to you right now, because I know you love when I narrate what I'm doing.
Yep.
Okay. All right. There you go. Should have it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm here listening quietly, eating dinner.
What? Oh, I was like, you're eating dinner. I want dinner.
Starving, bro.
Like so
Starving.
hungry.
A new twist in the hunt for the killer. Ron Logan, who owns the property where the bodies of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and Liberty German were found.
Anywhere else anymore.
Ron Logan is now in
Here or anywhere else safe.
a pickup truck during the search.
Who is safe here or anywhere else anymore?
Ron Logan is now in custody on an unrelated probation violation. I recently spoke to him about the murders.
You just cannot believe this terrible thing that happened to the community and the families actually happened here on my property in my backyard.
He told me he has an alibi, buying tropical fish 20 miles away.
I was not home during the time that all this was happening.
How do you know when it happened, Ron Logan?
And I didn't get home till approximately 6:30 in the evening, and then the neighbor stopped to ask for permission to look back here for the girls.
Liberty German shot this chilling image of the suspected killer approaching the girls on a hiking trail, and she recorded the killer's voice.
What do you hear on there?
Nothing that I recognize at all. No one. I don't recognize the voice at all.
I asked Ron Logan to repeat those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
And that image of the suspect?
The picture is of such poor quality, it doesn't look like anyone I've ever seen.
Police have not revealed what led them to search his home.
And they get a long shot of old
We are
Ron
here
there.
to try to eliminate him or put him as a higher suspect in chilling words.
Down the hill.
Repeat those same chilling
Spot
words.
on.
Down the hill.
Logan,
Spot
to repeat
on.
those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
Logan, to repeat those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
And that image of the suspect?
The picture is of such poor quality.
To search his home, but said in a statement, we basically
got
are
that
here
hitch in
to
his
try to
video,
eliminate
too.
him or put him as a higher suspect in our case. Ron Logan told me he is devastated by the discovery of the bodies on his property.
That was like being hit with a bolt of lightning on my property. I mean, you just can't put words to it.
Ron does have a whistly S, CH. That's very astute.
So is he
When
saying the person had a whistly S too, or no?
I don't know. You get, the only place you're hearing an S is guys.
Well,
Wait, so Afton saying play RL saying it against the released video. All right, so do it, yeah. So do that, and then you play the guys down the hill. If we hear the whistly S, it's case closed. Case closed. Because he definitely does have a whistly S.
all right, hold on.
Dixie says negative, not Ron Logan. I love this. What was that thing that came out like where everyone was heard different shit? What was it? Like
I
it was like
forget.
two completely different names.
It was a name, yeah, and I heard it different than you heard it. I gotta go back to it.
Rassler's mom says it's a false teeth whistle.
Oh,
Ron Logan to repeat those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
But play the guys. I want to hear if he's got the whistly S.
oh,
Guys. Down the hill.
At all.
I asked Ron Logan to repeat those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
should have had him say guys.
Yeah. So does he whistle on there? All right. Well, you and I need to eat. So I want all of you doing your homework tonight, just listening to that thing over and over and over and over. See what you can see. I imagine when we wake up tomorrow. Oh, good. Trace
Hey, Kim Baker's a new member. What'd she get, babe?
Aw, family hug. Welcome, Kim. All right. Well, before we jet, let's pull up the order real quick. Like, just go through. So this dropped today. This little guy preceded.
So hungry.
What are we gonna eat?
I have an idea.
Oh, please tell me it's not meatballs. Please tell me it's
I
not
mean,
balls. I don't want balls. No balls. Oh God. I'm gonna have to figure something else out. My dad's probably down there starving to death. Okay. All right. Let's pull it up. Order or judgment of the court. The court has reviewed Twist Media's LLC's third amended motion to intervene and compel access to public trial exhibits filed March 4. Counsel is incorrect that their client is news media as defined by IC 34-46-4-1. They're social media content creators, not legitimate, serious news media. The
wow.
March 4, 2025 pleading, as amended 3 times, is replete with vague, overbroad, non-specific requests for trial exhibits. In a footnote on the third unnumbered page, she's just so shitty. Counsel attempts to circumvent. Did she really need 3 pages numbered?
Right.
Counsel attempts to circumvent the requirement of specificity by stating Twist Media LLC was not present in the courtroom when the exhibits were marked, identified, and offered into evidence. As counsel should know, the court is not required to do his work by trying to figure out what his client seeks. Regardless of these continued shortcomings and inflated representations, pursuant to paragraph 23 of this court's February 18th, 2025 order, the court and court reporter are in the process of accommodating such requests as time allows in the order in which they are received. Available exhibits will be provided on a new flash drive provided by the court. A fee of $25 per 128 gig flash drive will be required to defray the cost of supplies, preparation, and transmission payable in advance. So when the available exhibits are prepared, the court will contact counsel regarding transmission.
All right. So then, yeah, that's why they decided they could release it. Well, the court's going to do it as time allows. Guess what?
We're allowing it
right now.
Allowed.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. You guys are the best.
Don't
Just make
forget, I don't know
sure-
how many likes that we have, but come on, give us some likes.
Oh,
give us
wait,
some
we
love.
gotta, yeah, you guys, like, dude, just go on the channel if you're a sub here, which we just broke 39,000. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so excited. We're so excited about hitting that
Yes,
landmark.
Yanni Laurel.
40. But go onto the channel, look at the likes in comparison to the views. I mean, it's free, y'all. Don't make me beg.
Thanks,
Don't
Mick.
make me beg. Yeah, Mick, you're
Yanni
awesome. The
Laurel.
auditory illusion you asked about was Yanni or Laurel. And then Charmaine, OG, super OG. Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you.
For your
And thank you, mods, once again for double duty.
Yes.
For being amazing. Mandy and Tracy, we love you. We adore you. You guys are the best. Tracy's been pulling docs for days. She is at a flood of
Reed.
she's unbelievable. Like everything. It's just been hundreds of documents from different circuit clerks that she's pulling. You're amazing, Tracy. We love you. We adore you. We cherish you. We appreciate you more than anything. And you guys, we appreciate the hell out of you. Remember, like, share, subscribe. And if you're in replay, leave a comment. It helps get us into algo. Let's get to 40. Let's do it.
Let's get
I think
to
we
100.
can do it pretty quickly. Kenny threw a late one. Oh, that was early. He loves Ali Mata. Dan loves
I did forget to do that one. Thanks, Kenny.
Oh, did you get all of them?
Yes.
Oh, and I did get, I'm glad I thought of that. I did get a Venmo. We love Venmos the most because they don't take a portion of it. So Kendall said, thanks for the live tonight. As soon as I saw the bridge video was released, I checked your channel to see when you'd be going live. Thank you, Kendall P. We appreciate you so much. And we appreciate all of you guys every day hanging with us. We love it. Reminder tomorrow, Josh Schiffer, and it's going to be great. We're going to have, like, I'm really looking forward to it because I haven't had Rich Schoenstein on before. He's another really bright lawyer, does a ton of stuff back in the day on Law and Crime. I did stuff with him. I imagine he's getting he's going to get like, Rich doesn't give a shit what anybody says out there. Rich is going to give his opinion no matter what it is. I respect the hell out of that because I'm the same way. Like, I could care less. You can be mad at me or not. We don't have to agree on everything in this world. That's facts. Makes it for a much more exciting existence for all of us when we all don't
right. So
agree on
thank you
things.
again.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you. Because without you, I'm just an old man.
Talking about a lot of cases.